I rarely do videos dedicated to the black community because I've said over and over again that I'm not on their team. I think out of all the black people on the right, I am the one who is honest about what's going on the right. And I'm honest about what's happening with Republicans and conservatives and right-wingers and why they have this particular interest in you. And even though these inbred white supremacists tend to, attack my videos or attack my character, I don't care. I'm a fighter, baby. You know me. I love to fight. This is no big deal to me. But understand I'm the only black on the right that is telling you the truth. And there's nothing in it for me. I'm not trying to win your favor. I'm not trying to win you guys over. When I said I'm not on your team, I'm not on your team, but I do have your best interest in mind. And I'm going to talk to you. I'm not talking to the Republicans because they don't care. I'm just another nigger to them. I am someone that they can't control. But I am someone who has been right. I have always been right. And this is an opportunity for me to say, I told you so, in addition to talking to black folks who are possibly thinking about coming to the right. I told you guys before, stay away from the Republican Party. Stay away from conservatives. The inbred you see on your left is Nick Fuentes. He's about 5'1", weighs about 95 pounds, and he's a neo-Nazi white supremacist. The inbred you see on your right is Master Charlie. He is the headmaster of the Negro League known as the Black Leaders of Turning Point USA. He is also the puppet, one of the many strings that pulls Candace Owens. And even though people think that Candace Owens is not being seen around Turning Point USA, she is still employed by Turning Point USA. I told you guys she was not fired. And I'm proven right again. Well, anyway, Master Charlie hates blacks. Nick Fuentes hates blacks. The only difference between these inbreds is that one hates the Jews and one loves the Jews. By the way, Zion forever. Oh, I'm just tricking a lot of you inbreds. Go ahead and thumb down the video because that's all you can do. The inbred on the left hates Jews and hates blacks. And the inbred on the right loves Jews but hates blacks. But he pretends to like blacks and only uses blacks as a way of advancing his career thanks to identity politics. Now, these two have that in common. They want identity politics. The inbred on the left wants to have an identity politics that recognizes the white identity. Good luck with that. Because I don't believe that the white Italians have anything in common with the white Germans, and the white Germans don't have anything to do with the white Polish. But, I know you want to play the victim and cry about being a majority by being cucked by 1.7% of the minority, but that's beside the point. I digress. So, Master Charlie was actually rejected from a military school because of identity politics, and his way of getting back at us black folks is by using us to advance his career and make him millions of dollars, and it has been successful. I have come out against both of these races, not Nick Fuentes personally, but what Nick Fuentes stands for: white supremacists, white nationalists, the alt-right, okay? Anything to deal with these people who believe in an ethno-state, these people who believe in racial, ethnic cleansing and racial purity, and that the white people are subjugated and oppressed by the Jews and the JQ and all this. These people are pathetic. The Republicans do not have your best interest in mind. The Democrats, not necessarily, but they do basically work with you to a certain extent. But I'm going to just tell you that the Republicans just want your vote so that they can brag to their other racist friends about how they have these darkies on their side to vote and to own the libs. Now, I hate both of these people. I hate both of their organizations, and I can't stand either one of them. And the fact that they are fighting against each other pleases me. But let me just tell you this, and I have some bad news for you inbreds, you guys who call yourselves knickers. I like the pun. Your rise to fame is short-lived. Enjoy it while you can, because it's not going to last long. I promise you that. Unless you can pull off another one of these come his next speaking event. And even then, you have this one person who's going to be prepared for you when you guys come to North Carolina. But understand this, no one cares about you en masse, or you don't have a big following because you are repulsive, you're cancer AIDS, and people are tired of the anti-Semitism and the Jew hating. But now you just, basically the reason why I'm doing this video is because you have proven me right in reference to how much you hate black people. Look at this video right here. You see this video? I did this video on September the 23rd of this year. Look at this ratio right here. Now, you're asking yourself, why did that happen? Well, because I told the truth. I said, listen, white supremacy is a problem, especially on the right. And I do believe one part of this video, let me see where I said it. I said, all Republicans are not, no, was it another video? I think it was another video. I've done so many videos on the white supremacists on the right, I can't remember. But I do remember doing a video about all Republicans are not Klansmen, but all Klansmen are Republicans. Okay? And the same thing goes for these white nationalists. All white people on the Republican side are not white nationalists. Okay, but all white nationalists are Republicans. That's how it is on this side. And they hated the fact that I brought this out. And this is their gatekeeper. I don't care if you hate me saying this. Candace Owens loves white supremacists. Candace Owens loves neo-Nazis, and she protects them so that they can basically call people like me a nigger, which is fine. I want them to be able to use the N-word so I can recognize racists when I see them. When you have these people, when you suppress their language, you're not able to identify your enemy. You should know your enemy upon sight. So these white supremacists embrace Candace, pay Candace, they love on Candace, they promote Candace, because that is their black card to call everybody else a monkey, a nigger, a jigaboo, a coon, or anything, whatever Uncle Tom, whatever racial slurs they want to say to other black people, to talk down upon them, to demean them, to basically belittle them, especially if they're on the left. Especially black folks, if you're on the Democratic side, I know you notice a different tone in a lot of white people on the right talking down upon you because you're a Democrat. How dare they do something like that to you? And if you call them racist, they'll say, I'm not racist. I love Candace Owens. That's their black card that they use. Okay. Their borrowed black card. No. Here's my black card. Candace Owens. I'm not racist. Even though I called you a nigger, and even though I called you an enslaved Democratic liberal, I'm not racist because I love Candace Owens. She is their gatekeeper. Don't forget that. And had it not been for this fool, she would have never been such a prominent member on the right. So if you ask me what side I'm on nobody's side. I hope these two idiots destroy each other. But let's understand this. Master Charlie got the money. I know one of the Koch brothers, I know that one of the Koch brothers died, but the money has still influenced these people. Okay? And everything about white supremacists and these white nationalists, they are cancer. Everything they touch turns to shit. But I also want to let you guys know that I have always talked about this. Let's go down a journey of Tree of Logic's past of calling out these idiots, okay? Now, I want to say this. I have never ran from a fight. And 98% of the black conservatives on the right are cowards. It's so easy, especially the black male conservatives. They either take a neutral ground or they're silent altogether. And what does it say about a black female like myself being the only one calling these people out for who they are, telling you the truth, black folks. I'm telling you the truth. I'm saying, look, the black men, for the overwhelming majority part, are cucks. They're eunuchs. They will never fight against these white supremacists because they're either one, paid by them, or two, they are afraid of them. You should never look at these people as any kind of leaders. They are weak. And here you have a black woman that's standing up to these people. What's wrong with that picture? So let's go into the beginning of this when I did a video called Know Thy Enemy, the Alt-Right. Now, I got a lot of heat when I came out with this video in 2008. I think, it was the first month of 2018. I came out against the alt-right and I said, these people are toxic, these people are crazy, these people are on the right, and these people are slowly killing off the Republican Party in the name of anti-Semitism and racism. After that, I had this little stupid inbred try to convince me that the Jews are the reason why she's so oppressed. And that's what these white supremacists want to do. They want to basically try to convince people that a minority is cucking the majority. And if that is the case, white people, according to the Census Bureau, make up anywhere between 73 to 74% of the United States population. Okay? Jews make up 1.7% of the United States population. That is a ridiculous minority. So you're saying that if this is true about the JQ, which is not, if it's true about the JQ, then you're saying that the minority is able to manipulate and conquer a huge majority? Then who's really the inferior race here if that's the case? Seriously, let's use it in the smaller numbers. If you have an island with only 10 people and one person, or shall we say 1.5, like one or two people, we'll be fair. We'll say two people. If two people can dominate, manipulate, okay, and control the other 8, who's really the powerful one? The 2 people or the 8 people? It's the 2 people. So when the 8 people complain about being subjugated or under 2 people, then the problem is how inferior the other 8 people are, not how superior the other 2 people are. But the JQ is a conspiracy theory, and I have had a debate about that with Mike Enoch. I'll never forget how people were so afraid of Mike Enoch. They were so afraid. It was Mike Enoch but once upon a time, Mike Enoch used to be the big bad boogeyman on Twitter, in the white nationalist rallies. People feared him and they stayed away from him. Knowing that he really hates the Jews, I said, you know what, Mike? Actually, I think somebody set that up. Somebody told Mike that I'm willing to debate any white nationalist about the JQ. And he said that I don't know if I was afraid to debate him or that I think he's not big enough to debate. And I said, oh no, Mike, I'll definitely take you on, because he's a challenge. He was the big boogeyman. He was such a fierce, he had this fierce, I think it was unwarranted, to be fair. People were highly scared. They were very afraid of Mike Enoch. And this debate happened on January the 3rd, 2018. And this was the first debate I've had in reference to the JQ. Okay. After that, people realized that Mike Enoch was sensible and he was reasonable, and he blew up. He blew up. He really did. Okay? Because they saw our interaction together, and they saw that we were not yelling at each other. We were not cussing each other out. We were actually bringing up he was bringing up his beliefs. I was debunking them, and it actually was a successful debate. And then, of course, I got this debate right here probably was the most stressful one prior to it. It wasn't stressful during the debate, but Richard Spencer tagged me in a Twitter. This is when I was active on Twitter. Richard Spencer tagged me on Twitter and said that I should allow him on to my platform, or we should. I talked about the video. I talked about him in this video, Know Thy Enemy, right? And because I talked about him, let's see, when did I use him? I used him right here. Right here is when I used him, right? And I also used him in this one too, when he was debating David Pakman and he had a black eye. Because I used footage of him, he said I misrepresented him and I should allow him to defend himself. And that put me in it put me in a corner, because if I was to become if I was combative with Richard, I would look bad, because every black person that has talked with Richard has been confrontational with him, and it basically gave him sympathy points. And so I must say this, think what you want about Richard Spencer, but he's very, very calculating, very clever, to rope me into this when I didn't even target him at all. And anyway, we had this one in January the 28th, about 2-3 weeks after the one with Mike Enoch. To my surprise, it was very successful for him. It was definitely successful for me, but a lot of people were mad because they said, you humanized Richard Spencer. How? And how the hell did I humanize him? Did you hear the shit that came out of his mouth? I'm like, did you hear the shit that came out of his mouth? I'm like, he was very honest. And it's like, I don't understand. If you listen to what he was saying, he was being true to himself. So how is it that I humanize him? Because I'm being, respectful to him? Regardless how much I don't like Richard Spencer, being disrespectful to him was not going to be in my best interest. And therefore, the debate, the discussion actually is more of a discussion than a debate, end up being a success for both of us. But surprisingly, it was successful for him. And that's what I'm saying. I was really surprised how this was successful to him, actually. So, and then we had the shit show between me and David Duke, where David Duke loses his shit about JQ. Now, do you see the pattern here? I'm constantly debating these people about the Jewish conspiracy known as the JQ. And David Duke basically challenged me to a debate, and I whipped his ass, and he lost his shit. Now, let me tell you something about this video. This video was so controversial because of the way he behaved, the things he said, and him losing his shit. He's just such a racist piece of shit that YouTube actually put it in restricted mode. They did. They restricted the freaking video. So if you, the only way I think you can find is that you have to go to my channel and actually look for David Duke versus Tree of Logic. Because if you was to put this in the search bar, it's not going to show up. I'm sorry, it's just not going to show up. So then we move on to the final thing. And I think after this video, this was done last year when the neo-Nazis came to Georgia. They came to Noonan, Georgia to celebrate Hitler's birthday. And I made a road trip down there to basically interview them and to confront them. And this is a video about that. Also to show how Antifa is not welcome in Georgia. See, Georgia, the reason why Georgia doesn't have an Antifa problem is because we don't cater to mask protesters. We have a no mask law, which is highly and heavily enforced. So that right there is, sorry, that was my phone going off, highly and heavily enforced. And so I filmed this, and after this, I have to say that this was my last video actually attacking neo-Nazis. Not necessarily not stop talking about it. I didn't stop talking about them. It was like, this is getting old, because when you're the only one, especially if you're the only black one attacking white supremacists on the right as a right winger, it gets a little old after a while. You get tired of it and you just lose interest. And that's sort of where I am right now. I've lost interest in attacking white supremacists, because when you do it by yourself, it's like, what's the point after that? So anyway, let's get on to Candace bitch ass, okay? People don't realize what a dangerous, fucked up human being this person is, okay? Candace tried to dox me. She wanted to get me killed. She belittled me and basically tried to shame me for growing up poor. She's just a piece of shit, and I will never, ever, 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 ever stop talking about it, okay? Until I get ready to. But let's not forget that the conservatives were the one who were funding her to have this doxing site. And they don't want you to know about that. I was the first to come after her. And the reason why we was able to take her down the first time was because the liberals and the libertarians joined me in the fight, not the conservatives. They joined me in the fight to get her to take down that doxing site. Now, once the doxing site was taken down with their help, that was all they was going to deal with. You know what I'm saying? That was like, we conquered her. We got her to take down that doxing site. She wanted to dox little kids as young as 9 years old. She defended doxing little kids. She did not have a problem with them giving their information to child molesters and pedophiles. The conservatives was like, well, as long as they're liberal kids, we don't care. Okay, it's all right. She's working on our best interest. And I called them out. And I've always called the Republicans and the conservatives out as a right winger. We're supposed to be on the same team. I'm just supposed to focus on the liberals. No, I don't do that. So anyway, as you can see, the video was well received. Look at that. So, and that's because it came out in 2017 when I came out against her. But oh boy, shit changed. Shit changed when I came out with her a year later, when she joined Turning Point USA. Okay. And I started to see what they were going to do in reference to the Republican Party, the conservative movement. I saw what they were doing, and I called their asses out. Now, Master Charlie is in this video, but this is when I think, black people, I think this is the first video I made, basically targeting you and let you know, hey, the white people and their Negro supporters are trying to come for you to get your vote so they can brag about how they're the cool people who have black people's vote. The identity politics should stay on the left because that's where it belongs. But when Trump did this, Trump brought that shit to the right. And it is slowly eating away at our party. That's why the reason I left the Republican Party. Okay, I left them and I'm independent, because the fact that when you bring identity politics, you bring bullshit like this. So with her and Turning Point USA, I actually called them all out. And then I called out Master Charlie personally. So you understand, I have always been consistent. I have always been consistent in calling out these people. And I want it on record that I was the first on the right. I was the first Republican, the first right winger, I'm not a Republican anymore. I'm independent now, but I was the first conservative to come after them. And I'm the first and only black to still come after them. What does that tell you about the black conservatives on the right? Surrounded by these racist white supremacists. Okay. And I'm sorry, my ideology is right wing. Because we share that in common does not mean that we share a lot of things in common. And I don't want black people to come over here and be mistreated like this. I don't want you guys to be subjugated and used as pawns. The Democrats are doing a good job with that, and you seem to love that. So you stay where you're happy with. But I'm not going to shame you to come on the right. And if you ain't trying to fight these freaking inbreds, stay where you are. And so here we have this video right here, where the white people were laughing about, come on, Tree, really? White supremacy? Oh, aren't you a little hyperbolic? Well, am I? Well, let's look at the video here of the Charlie Kirk and Sugar Booty Rob over here at the Culture War, at their Culture War event. Let's go to their channel and see how wrong I am about white supremacists. So this is the Turning Point USA's YouTube page, as you can see right here, okay? And this is the video that had the Groypers, Nick Fuentes, inbred followers going after Master Charlie, who I also hate. I got to put emphasis on it. I hate everybody in this story, okay? Would love for them to destroy each other so that we can actually take our party back. But I want to show you the mark of the beast. What these people do is that they band together in a Discord and they put the video in the comment section and they'll tell their followers, go downvote this video. Okay. I have no problem with this, with the downvote on my videos, because it just basically shows people, hey, this is what happens when you speak against the mighty white supremacists, the neo-Nazis, the inbred alt-right. I love when this happens, and I allow them to, I don't hide. I never hide my, dislike and like feature, because I want to show particularly black people why you need to stay the fuck away from the right. I have been telling you guys this for 2.5 years now, and they will punish me, especially white people who just want to promote this propaganda like, oh, we need a black vote. But let me tell you something, black folks. You come over here, you're going to get your ass handed to you if you're not a fighter like me. There's only two ways of handling the white supremacists on the right. You either fight them or you submit to them. And 95% of the black conservatives on the right submit to them. I do not. So when you see stuff like this with the ratio, they really care. A lot of these weak-minded, and they're normally black male conservatives. I got to put the emphasis on that. They're usually black male conservatives who really care about the like to dislike ratio. Oh my God, I don't want the white supremacists to dislike my video. I don't care if you inbreds dislike my video, okay? But what you won't do is you won't take over my comment section. Let me just show you, black people, let me tell you something. I keep telling y'all, I'm not on your team. I'm not on your team, but I do have your best interests. I keep telling you, Negroes, do not come over here. Don't listen to the white supremacists over here, okay? We have it bad over there. At least you guys can control your white liberals to some extent. If you ain't ready to go to battle with these white supremacists on the right, don't even deal with it. So look at what they do. They just basically take over the comment section. That's what they do. But this is the best part. Let me just show you, because you remember my last video where I was talking about how Candace Owens is talking about white supremacy is not an issue. And these freaking inbreds talking about something, oh my God, there's no white supremacy. Oh, really? You ready for this? Despite making 13% of the population NIGGERS. Good job, boys. The crime rate has fallen to 0. But look. I really haven't seen all this shit. It's amazing. It's like these people. It is. Let me tell you something. You black people. This is why I want white people to be allowed to say nigger. I want them to be allowed to say nigger. because you get to see them for who they are. When you're a white liberal and you hate me for being black, you pretend to be my ally when you secretly plotting for my demise, to hurt me. When you are a blatant racist and open racist, I get to see you coming. You're not a threat to me, per se, as someone who's a secret racist. So let's go ahead and look at the actual live stream just to show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and look at Master Charlie has introduced his favorite loyal servant, Sugar Booty Rob. Now, I am going to still feature Sugar Booty Rob in my part 2 series of Turning Point USA, the white supremacist group. But I just want you to look at the Jew-hating and actually black-hating white supremacists in the comments section. This is why you need to allow these people to say everything they want to say so you can see them coming, so you can identify them, so that you can basically prepare to fight them. Because if they are undercover, you don't see them coming. But you see these people coming a mile away. Watch.
Ohio. I am from Akron, Ohio. Big ups for Akron. Literally 3 hours.
Look at all this bullshit.
Here. So no, I'm not a rich.
They're
kid.
trying to spell nigger.
Akron, Ohio. Akron. So
they're too backwoods to do it properly. They got to do it in the comment section. They can't do it.
I was talking to somebody earlier. I went to Bookville High School, which was one of the worst cities, or one of the worst.
Oh, this is nice. Fuck this blackie. Oh, okay. Yeah, see? And remember now, my video, okay, about Candace Owens and the white supremacists, these freaking inbreds try to tell me there's no such thing as white supremacy, that white supremacy is not an issue on the right. And I'm like, oh, really, niggas? Really? Really? Look at this.
I think it's one of the worst schools in the state. It's got like an F rating from the Board of Education or something like that. But it's okay because, I went to college and I read books. So I spend like a lot of my life trying to like overcome that really, really
Look at this.
crappy public school education, which is why I'm so about school choice. So
you used to be a leftist.
I used to be the leftist.
We was kind.
I used to be so far left that I was actually arrested protesting Don't Ask, Don't Tell at the White House under the Obama administration. So protesting the rule that said gays and lesbians cannot serve openly in the military. But what happened?
Rob is only famous because he's gay and black. Aren't we supposed to be fighting identity politics instead of giving into it? Now, this person right here, yes. This is so true. But you know what? You should have joined me when I fought them in the first place 2 years ago, okay? It's too late now. They have already contaminated the entire, they already contaminated the Republican side. It has been destroyed. That's the reason why I went independent.
It was a couple years ago, probably about, my red pill moment was happening around 2013, 2014, 2015. But when the 2016 election happened, and we were doing the run-up to that election, and Hillary Clinton, who I just despised with the heat of 1,000 suns, I hated. I have to tell you that I despise everything.
So anyway, fuck this coon. This is a black person doing. This is a white person calling a black person coon. This, and the other. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here. I really made my point. I made the point that I was the first to come after them as a right-winger. I also made it a point that I am the only black person, the first black and the only black person to still attack them. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm so over it. I've basically just warned black people what's going on, the agenda of many of the white supremacists on this side. And yes, I know you have a lot of thin-skinned white people that are going to say, not all. Would you people get a spine and thicker skin? Hashtag not all. How many fucking times do I had to constantly say hashtag not all? Hashtag not all. Not all black people commit crimes and not all white people are racist. Get over it. Damn. If I'm not talking about you, why are you getting offended by it? Why are you getting all huffy and pissy about it? Unless it is directed to you. Or hurt dog or holla. Okay? But what I just want to say is this. I was right, and a lot of people were really angry that I kept saying that Candace Owens is a gatekeeper to white supremacy. She's not the only one, though. She's not the only one. But they were saying that white supremacy does not exist on the right. The hell are you guys talking about? And I have to give credit to people like Nick Fuentes and a lot of these white nationalists. I like when they come out because they prove me right. I get to make videos like this. Told you so. Told you so. Told you so. I get to do videos like this, patting myself on the back. Now, I just wanted to put my position on here. I am on neither one of these idiots' sides. I hate both of them equally. Maybe I may hate Master Charlie a little bit more because he brought my enemy over here who tried to get me killed. Okay? But I don't like neither one of these people. They're both cancer aids. They're both destructive for the Republican Conservative Party. I can't stand them. So I'm not on their side. And I don't care if a broken clock is right twice a day. They are my enemy. And I do not take sides on behalf of my enemy. But don't worry, I'm not the only one, okay? I'm not the only one who sees them for who they are. But I am the only black YouTuber. I am the only black right-winger who will call them out. But I'm also outnumbered with a lot of black male YouTubers who will sit idly by and allow this shit to go on, or play neutral, or take their side.
White supremacy and white nationalism is not a problem that is harming black America.